What's good, y'all? It's Lee. Now, I know you're probably like, well, what's the purpose of you showing your face when you don't do so in your readings? Well, because I don't know. I just don't want to. But today is different, or tonight is different. Hopefully you can see me because I don't know how this is looking considering the fact that I have to use my laptop like always. But I wanted to make this video and I just didn't know exactly when would be the good time to do it. But for whatever reason, I just feel like I need to. I wanted to talk about the stroke that I had. But before I say anything, there are people that may believe that it's impossible to have a stroke at a young age. That is not the case, because here I am at 38, just turned 38, and suffered the stroke. So what ended up happening, a doctor prescribed me medication. I may not be pronouncing it correctly. I believe it's, tremexic acid or something to that degree. It was supposed to help me deal with my cycle issues that I was going through. And she told me that she could only prescribe me 5. So I needed to make sure that I took it for 5 days, or 10 days, 10 days, once in the morning and at night. And I was supposed to take it the start of my cycle. So I took it the first day and I didn't really notice a change. Excuse me. Sweet tea, sorry. I didn't notice a change. And then I took it again at 9 o'clock in the evening and still didn't notice anything. And when it hit in the middle of a conversation that I was having with a friend on the phone. I was going into the kitchen to pour some lemonade. And when I opened up the refrigerator, everything was cool, you know what I mean? And when I closed the refrigerator door, I dropped my phone. I'm like, what in the world did I drop my phone for? And when I went to pick up my phone, I noticed that my hand was still holding on to the handle of the refrigerator. So I thought that was weird. Like, why is my hand stuck? And when I moved my hand, it was completely numb. And I was like, what is going on? Because it was dangling, and it was doing its own thing. Like, regardless of what I was trying to do, it was just weird. And I was telling my friend about that. Like, my hand, it's doing some weird stuff. My arm is doing some weird stuff. And she was like, well, maybe you might have pinched a nerve. So I kind of chuckled like, yeah, because I remember I did that before. Pinched a nerve. And I tried not to think anything of it. And she was like, okay, well, we ended the conversation because she had to go to bed. So I started to feel funny. And after I got off the phone with her, I noticed I was having trouble like speaking. Now, from this point on, my memory had to come back for me to tell you this part. But I remember I went into the bathroom and I tried to regroup, try to figure out what's going on, like what's going on. And I just remember repeating myself, like I knew that something wasn't right, but I could not vocalize what was going on with me. And so I remember trying to find my phone and trying to find a way to call. But the thing was, at this point in the game, I didn't know what my phone was. I didn't know how to operate it anymore. It was by the grace of God. That was a complete divine intervention that I was able to contact my friend. And again, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I was even able to take my password off of there because it was locked. There was no way I could have, unlocked it, especially in that frame of mind. And she said that I was asking her if she could help me. And she said that I was saying these, asking in threes, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And she was like, well, maybe you are experiencing some anxiety. And then I told her that, my arm was dead. And I repeated that in threes. And she put two and two together and realized that I was suffering a stroke. So she helped me to call for my daughter. She instructed for my daughter as she tried to make a call to find, to the ambulance, to use my phone and try to call the closest person. What did she say? I think she said like the first number that I saw or she saw, to call that number to try to reach out to someone. And at that time, my daughter didn't know how to use my phone. And I couldn't help her because I was often, it was crazy. And miraculously, the person that she was able to contact was my stepmother. And coming from my stepmother, she said that I just kept telling her, I don't know what's going on, but I know that I need you here now. So she didn't hesitate. There was no questions that needed to be asked. She just came. And I also believe that my friend had to call back in order for her to get information on where I lived, because she knew the street, but she didn't know, or was it the other way around? I don't know if she knew the address or she didn't know the street. One of the two. But my children at this time was awake, and they assisted her by going outside to find the address and everything for me. I was still trying to fight it, apparently, because my daughter was freaking out because of the fact that I was stumbling. And I remember my friend telling me that I needed to sit down, don't move. So then when help arrived, I do remember them asking me to smile. I think my stepmom asked me to smile too. Was asking me if I could smile for her. And I remember kind of looking at her like maybe I thought in my mind I could, or maybe I don't know. And then the ambulance arrived. Between the ambulance and my stepmother arriving and the stroke happening, this was all within 30 minutes. And I was luckily able to get to the hospital in time. And they too was trying to get me to smile, to try to get an understanding of what was going on with me. And I do remember them asking me what type of medication that I took. And I don't know if I was jumbling my words at the time or not, but eventually I believe I mentioned the fact that I took trimesic acid, if I'm saying that right. And as soon as I said that, I remember him hopping up, the guy in the ambulance, hopping up. We figured out what's going on. And they started to make a call, and, and they sped up a little faster. And I remember the guy that was sitting beside me, he was telling me that everything was going to be okay. Of course, I didn't know what was going on. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. And then they still kind of fuzzy, but I know that they mentioned something about a TMA. Am I saying it right? That they had to give me this shot to reverse the effects of the stroke, that I suffered a stroke, a very mild stroke, or as they say, significant. And so, thank goodness it reversed it. I did suffer brain damage from it. And the brain damage affected my memory. There is a possible chance that I suffered a seizure as well, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. And the only reason why that was is because of the fact that I had lost my memory. And this is what they're saying, because of the fact that I lost my memory. And then, of course, the inability to write. And even like a day after, I was still struggling to remember who people were. And even, it took a minute. It wasn't too long, but enough to where I had to be reminded of individuals. So that's why they feel as though I may have suffered a seizure as well. One of the things that I found interesting was my fight to determine who I was. I was determined to figure out where I lived, my age, my birthday, all of that. And I was so diligent in trying to figure it out. And I know that they were being patient with me, and I appreciate them so much for allowing me to do what I thought that I needed to do. Because I thought that I was going to be able to bounce back from this. Because, granted, I never had a stroke before, so I didn't know how this was going to affect me. But they had this pen and paper. I was ready to write, the answers to all the questions. I know who these people are, but I just couldn't get it out. My friend, she called, and I guess I knew who she was, but I didn't know who she was. I didn't even know who my own children were. I was told that I was calling my son, the boy, the handsome little boy that helped me. I didn't even know who my own mother was. But try not to cry thinking about it. But anyways, she called. And mind you, I was trying to figure out who this person was. I just kept calling her the girl. And it just so happened that she called, and her voice, I instantly knew who she was. And I was like, that's her. That's the girl. That's the girl, And they're like, hey, it's the girl. So it was at that moment that I was determined to pick up the pieces. I had numbness. I was unable to move my legs and my arms. Couldn't really feel them as much. And I think I had trouble walking. And I think I want to make sure that I can remember everything. But I think I started officially trying to walk maybe the second day I was there. And it seemed to have come natural for me. And mind you, I've never had a stroke before. So I don't know what it's like to experience these things. But I was able to get my movements back. I was able to move around. I'm not gonna say I annoyed them. I know I probably didn't annoy them, but they was very concerned because I would trip the alarm. There was an alarm on the bed, and whenever they would leave me by myself and I had to go to the bathroom, I would unhook whatever I needed to unhook to go to the bathroom. Like, no, I gotta go. But they were still amazed at the fact that I was able to move around as quickly as I was. Even now, like this, what's today? This is technically the 1st of September, and it happened April the 29th. And I'm, able to move around, and I know that they had to teach me this, but it was like every time I would do my therapy, he would come back to see how well I did, and I mastered it. I think the hardest one that I had to do was, and this one is very hard. See if I can remember it. Like trying to do this one by one or something like that. I can't remember how he wanted me to do that, but it was so annoying. Or even when I had to be able to move these simultaneously, basically, or just one at a time, basically, without having to move my hands. I should be able to lift up my fingers. I mean, obviously I can do it now, but those were things that I had to work on, and my strength and everything came back. I was able to walk just fine. I could hop, I could spin around, I could skip, I could do all those things. So they basically was like, you really don't need us. When I was released, like, you don't need us anymore. But I still suffer from the cognitive part. I've been trying my best to read as much as I can. And I do have to use Siri to help me because I already have ADD. So trying to read it on my own, especially feeling the effects of the stroke, it's times 1,000. Like, it's so hard to do. So I have, Siri read to me, but I try to follow as much as I can. I'm a big BTS fan, and my favorite member is Jimin. I love them all collectively, but I like to write to him. And when the stroke happened, well, I would say a week after I got out of the hospital from the stroke, I tried to write him. I wanted to tell him what happened to me. And I was so embarrassed because I was unable to do it. But I kept trying and I kept trying. And I finally, I think it was, it might have been 2 weeks ago, that I was able to write a page or a half a page without too many flaws. I have to take my time with things. It's not like how I used to be able to just, brush through something. I definitely, is very time consuming now. But overall, I feel amazing. And the reason why I decided to make this video is to encourage those that have suffered a stroke and they feel as though all hope is lost. That's not the case. Um, there's going to be times where you're going to have good days, and there's going to be times where you're going to have bad days. It breaks my heart that I do not have the ability to help my children with their homework because I cannot figure math out. Like it's difficult to do. Now, of course, I could tell you 1 + 1 is 2. Like those things I can do, but fractions, I can't do that right now. And I used to be good at it. I know for damn sure I probably wouldn't be able to do any algebra or anything like that. But it's all about baby steps. So if you don't feel anything on your arm, I can't feel anything. I had to talk to the, how do you say it? Is it a botanist? The one that, checks your blood. But anyways, her and the neurologist was asking me if I could feel certain things. And at the end of the day, I came to terms with the fact that I've lost my feeling. I thought that I could, and I think it's just the pressure that I was feeling, assuming that it was the actual feeling. But I'm numb. The first time I acknowledged it was when I was cooking, and I didn't realize that I had my hand in grease. So I had to be very, very careful. And not just that, I got to be very careful because we have scalding hot water at our apartment complex. I mean, that water is hellbound. And I have to make sure that I don't just stick my hand in there and, I'm not trying to do all that. But I was a part of a group on Facebook. And honestly, I'm going to have to be honest. I had to step away from it because I didn't feel comfortable. Even though, and someone had brought it to my attention, it was like, you shouldn't have, I ran away. I ran away because I felt guilty for my progress. I don't know how to describe it. Mind you, again, I've never had a stroke before, so I didn't know what to expect. But then realizing that it could have been much worse, if not fatal. It sits differently with me. And to know that I have brother and sister survivors out there that are still struggling, it broke my heart. I did not want to be the one like, look at me. Not like I would do that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt that that's what I was doing. But someone told me that I should never be ashamed of my progress. And instead of being scared to talk, to share what's going on, use that as a way of helping someone. So here I am. Baby steps. That's the key. Baby steps. Some of you out there that have suffered a stroke are trying to get back into work, like me. Trying to push yourself harder than what you need to because you're afraid that you're going to miss out on something. That's not true. That's not true at all. Please take this time to heal. If you are able to recover within 6 months, great. But still take it upon yourself to be extra careful with yourself. Don't stress yourself out. I know that's definitely easier said than done. But remember that you're here for a reason. If it was your time to go, it would have been it. Just like with me. Because, so many scenarios could have happened. What if I was never able to get in contact with my friend? What if I was, nobody, I don't have a support system like that. So had it not been for God using her as a way to assist me and then my children, I wouldn't be here today. And so I had to be reminded of that. I'm here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. You may not feel that way, but it's true. No, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to walk around here with your arm being numb, or there's a certain way that you walk, or you have a slur, or your face looks a little droopy. So what? So what? Because you know what? At the end of the day, whether you're young, middle-aged, older, it doesn't matter. You're going to look that way anyways. Because you're going to age. You're going to come to a point in your life where you're not going to be able to walk as well as you did when you were 10 years younger, 20 years younger, 40 years younger. It's going to happen. It happens to everyone. It definitely teaches you to be mindful of your blessings. We literally take everything for granted. When we were going through COVID, we're still going through it, but who would have ever thought that there would have been a shortage in toilet paper? Lysol, bleach, masks. And at one point in time, it seemed as though that was a foreign thing to, be discovered. Because somebody, was quick to snatch them up. And then you sat there and you thought, I never thought in a million years I would be as grateful as I am to see a roll of toilet paper. And I feel like that's the same thing in our daily lives. We are so used to having these amenities, if that's what you would call it, the access to these blessings. And we don't even give it a second thought because it's something that we have we have adapted to. That we don't understand that it can easily be taken from us. We're quite arrogant. Yeah, we're very arrogant. Because if you would have told me that I was going to go back to, and don't get me wrong, I don't feel like I've lost my intelligence. But it feels that way to me because of the fact that I can't read as fast as I could. I'm trying to build up the momentum and I'm getting there. And hopefully I'm going to get to the point to where, because now I think I'm at the point to where I can read about 2 to 3 pages now. And my goal is to be comfortable with reading 5 pages front to back, even if it's electronically. And then I want to be able to read them on my own I stumble. I'm going to stutter and stammer. That's just me. but at least I will feel like I have progressed the way that I need to. And I'm ready to graduate myself and wean myself from Siri. But at this point in time, I need her. And so for a lot of you out there that have suffered a stroke, it's okay to allow someone to help you. I don't care how headstrong you are. Let someone help you and experience that. As long as it's coming from a genuine place, I wouldn't even worry about it. Take the time to relax and just be. Yes, you might get annoyed having to go to your rehabilitation courses, but that's part of the process of healing. There was one particular therapist that got on my damn nerves because he was pushing me too hard, I felt. He wanted me to count by threes. I'm like, how in the world do you expect for me to count by threes? And I'm having trouble counting to, 50. You're going to try it and you're going to do it. And I couldn't stand him, but I appreciate him. Because he told me, he was like, I have to stay on you. I can't let you assume that you're not going to be able to accomplish this goal. You've got to keep that brain moving. You've got to keep nurturing it, or you're going to lose everything that you once had. And I don't want that for you. Do you want that? I'm like, no. So yeah, it might be annoying, but this is something that you have to do. This is just a stumbling block. That's all that it is. One big stumbling block, and it's causing you to take a break. Think about what life was about before you had the stroke. Me, I was a stressful mess. I always had my head down. I complained about everything. I didn't believe that good things were going to happen to me. And I thought, honestly, that the stroke was part of it. It's like, I'm just, meant to go through these things because, this was the shitty ass hand that I was dealt by the gods. Thank you, No, that wasn't the case at all. Everything has a reaction, a consequence. I blame myself, and I also blame the doctor. Ultimately, the doctor, because I feel that she should have at least explained to me the side effects. I blame myself because I should have took my butt home and looked up the side effects and questioned whether or not this would be the right type of medication for me. But I foolishly placed all my eggs in her basket and assumed that she knew what she was doing. And she could have very well felt that she knew what she was doing. But not in my case. Definitely not in my case. So yeah, I own up to my naivety. But since I had the stroke, I strive to be better. being in a situation like that definitely changes your life. It changes your life. It changes you. Those that never experienced it, they're never going to get it. They're not going to get it. I don't care how they try to slice it and dice it. They may have experienced someone in their family that suffered the stroke. By the way, if you're wondering what this is, not a scar. It's kind of a scar because I've been scratching. It's supposed to be a new tattoo and it's terrible now. I got to get that redone. But anyways, it's a calico cat. But anyways, that was my little ADD moment. But I don't care if they have experienced it from another family member. They did not go through it themselves. So they're not going to understand what you are going through and, you know, the way that you look at life. They're not going to be able to touch that. If you have suffered a loss in friendships because of the fact that they don't like that you've turned into somebody different, then you know what? They needed to go anyways. We're not doing that. I know for me, I had to do some serious soul searching. I questioned everything. I was so angry, and I'm still angry. Mind you, I was in a process of studying for my real estate license. I wanted to become a broker, a contractor. My best friend was helping me to get my wardrobe together. I had just applied for a position at a college that complemented what I was trying to do. And just like that, everything was reset. Oh, I was mad. Now, I have a sense of calm about me. Ultimately, because I can't help what has transpired. And no one is to blame for that. I feel that the universe, God, is telling me to sit down and allow myself to be healed and let Him help me to get the things that I want. I just need to focus on healing. And not just the brain. I'm taking advantage of this time to do my soul searching, to figure out what energies I need to let go of, things that no longer serve me. I'm letting that all go. So then when God feels as though I'm ready to step out in the world with my new and improved brain, I'm going to do the damn thing. And I believe that for you too. You are going to be amazing. You're already amazing. You're already amazing. This is just a stumbling block. You struggle with math just like I do, or you can't but you can't write right now. Guess what? There are people out here. You got doctors who can't freaking write for crap. How does anybody even know what the prescription is? Okay? You're not the only one. Suffering from aphasia, I do that all the time. Sit there for a second and you know what you want to say, but you can't seem to get it out. And I mean, let's just keep it real. I don't think anyone goes for the other terms. You're used to a certain term, you're going to try to go for it. I mean, I guess it does help, but if you're like me, you're like, you know that That thing over there, the thing that you get this little thing right here, and you can play stuff on it. Oh, a controller, yeah, the video game, yeah. I do that. Do y'all do that? I mean, but at the end of the day, you're still getting your point across, just in your own way. There is no right or wrong way to healing. There is no right or wrong way. You have to go at your own pace and go on the path that was meant for you. My path is not meant for you. Your path is not meant for me. But at the end of the day, we all have something in common, and that is endurance, resilience, perseverance, courage, strength. We got this. We got this. A lot of you have family members. You might be a single mother or a father. However the case may be, your family or your close loved ones are going to need you to be at your best mentally. You have to want it. Please don't be defeated. It's not going to do you any good. Don't be defeated. I need you to keep going. Some of you are like, oh, well, it's easy for you to say because you can walk, you can do this. Okay. But you know what? I lost my confidence because I thought that people could actually see that I had a stroke. Like they could tell by the way that I talked. With my tarot card readings, I stumble over my words all the time. And I get insecure because I'm afraid that someone is going to look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. But I can't help it. That's part of the aftermath of a stroke. I gotta, do what I can. And same thing with you. If you have a moment where you are fumbling over your words, just know that tomorrow could be a better day. Maybe you're having a bad week. Next week can be better. You just have to believe that it's possible. I don't want anyone to give up. Please don't give up. You've come so far. What is this? What time is it? Okay, it is 10:58. And it is the 1st of September. Going back from when the time you had that stroke to now. You're doing a damn thing. Give yourself a pat on the back. And truly live in the moment. Don't worry about the stresses. You just focus on healing. And always remember that things that you have manifested, prayed for, whatever the case, whatever terminology you want to use, whatever is meant for you, it's going to happen. You didn't lose anything. Just a few moments. But time is an illusion anyways. So just do your best. That's all you can do. I don't even know you, but I just want to tell you that I love you very much. And I'm proud of you for not giving up. if you needed to hear that. Because, sometimes I lose faith. Like, am I really okay? Am I really going to make all my dreams come true? Is it really going to happen for me? Heck yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Because I'm too hard-headed. Sorry. I'm too hard-headed to not allow it to. Some of you that is watching this video, you're just as hard-headed as I am, and that's good. We get things done. We definitely get things done. But I believe in you. This is all temporary anyways. As long as I'm able to move in the way that I need to get a particular job done, I'm cool with that. If I ended up losing the strength in my left hand, this is my dominant hand. So I'm grateful that it happened with this hand, or arm, should I say. But let's say that it decided that it wanted to mess up my left hand. It would have been hard, but I would have been determined to write and do everything that I needed to do with my right that I could do with my dominant. When there is a will, there is a way. All those little cliched lines. It's so true. You just have to take it upon yourself to be mindful of how far you've come from point A to B. We ain't even thinking about Z right now. We will cross that bridge when it comes. And then when the next opportunity comes, we're going to go from B to C. It's the progress, the process of the progress. So please be gentle with yourself. And don't give up. I refuse to give up. I refuse to allow myself to spiral down the pits of sorrow and self-pity. Look, I had to face the fact that I have individuals that were in my life, and they didn't say it to me, but they might as well. Girl, don't nobody give a damn about your feelings. We're focused on our stuff, so you get your shit together. Excuse my language, but that's how it is. Get your shit together. And then come have some ice cream and cake whenever you're done moping around, because we don't have time for. They might as well said that, because that's what it is. We live in a callous world, so sulking is not going to get you anywhere. Now, if it's a coping mechanism, see, I'm stammering. A coping mechanism, whatever. I give up. No, I'm not. I'm going to try it one more time. Coping mechanism. I did it. See, guys. If that's how you cope, then talk to yourself. Talk to, your stuffed animal, whatever the case may be. Just don't keep that energy. on you. Don't let it fester on you. Don't let it, pollute your pores. Get it out and release it to the universe so that you can deal with your healing. But, yeah, people can only do so much. Because you also got to understand, too, they have their own things, issues or whatever that they're dealing with. So it wouldn't be fair to put all of your stress on them unless you are completely incapable. Then I completely understand that. I want to put that out there. But for those that are very capable and you're just insecure, that's all that it is. You're just insecure and you're afraid. But I do believe that you're going to progress, and this will be a thing of the past for you. Some of you that have elements that causes you to have them more than once, I pray that you will be able to get past that. I hope that they will find a way to help you with that, because I don't want that for you at all. I just want to put that out there. So, but for some of you that can't help it and you have to have someone there to help you, I'm not targeting you. I'm not targeting anyone. I'm just saying, don't feel like I'm trying to attack you or make you feel some type of way, because that's not it. I'm talking about the ones that are very capable of choosing to look at the brighter side of things, but would rather, they would rather live in sorrow because this happened to them. We're not doing that. You're not doing that. I know you're like, well, who are you to tell me? I'm encouraging you to not do that. You have so many things to look forward to. Okay? So I think I done ran my mouth enough. The only thing that I could say is just please just keep fighting. If I can do it, you can do it. And let me tell you, I'm not just able to move and things like that. I'm also by myself. I am a single mother. I am a foster mother. I am a mother of 3 children, and I care for my niece. Because of the stroke, I don't feel comfortable stepping out and trying to apply for a job that I know that I would normally go for. But at the same time, I don't want to accept anything lower than what I've worked hard for. I have 2 degrees and a certificate stating that I had completed my broker's exam. I mean, well, the pre-licensing course. So I don't really see myself accepting a fast food job. I can't do that. That's for me. So I'm allowing myself to do the necessary healing. I'm also manifesting and taking the time to allow myself to be vulnerable. Not trying to control anything. Just letting things fly the way that they need to. I have a pretty good intuition, and I feel that when it's time for me to move, I will instinctually do so. But at this point in time, I'm going to heal. And I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to find things to do, along with being a mom and trying my best to reteach myself things. It's all a process. So, again, please don't give up. Because you depend on it. you need you to be stronger. Because ain't nobody going to be as strong. Ain't nobody going to be able to protect you like you. Ain't nobody going to be able to encourage you like you. Ain't nobody going to be able to love you the way that you love yourself. So we need you to be strong. We need you to push through this and understand that, and really take it upon yourself to tell yourself that you survived. You are a survivor. You did it. Not too many people can say that. I don't want you to go back into anything traumatic, but at the same time, I feel like it's necessary to just take a glance. Again, where you were then, compare it to, right now. Look at you right now. If it was meant for you to end there, you would not be here right now. So keep going. Okay? So I hope I said everything that I wanted to say. I feel better. I love you. I'm proud of you. If you have any questions for me, I probably won't be able to answer them in the way that you would hope. And the reason why I say that is because my story might be different from yours. And honestly, I never took it upon myself to do research. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. It's been 4 months. I'll get there. There's just a lot going on because the world is still going to be spinning regardless of what circumstances that you're going through. But I'm proud of you. Now I need you to be proud of yourself and don't give up. Because like I said, if you were meant to be back there, you definitely wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be here at all. So somebody needs you around. You've got some unfinished business. You've got a world to conquer. We've got a world to conquer. We've got people to see. We've got people to make laugh, make mad, whatever the case may be. We need you to be your unapologetic self and do it well. Okay? So just don't give up. And thank you so much for listening to me. Bye.